This is the MeteoMark Weather Show. We have an ongoing winter storm in the northeast mid-Atlantic and southern central New England. But take a look at some of these photos first, sent in by Ryan Crawford. Thank you, Ryan, for sending these in. Take a look at some of these shots here in New Hampshire. You can see these are from the Newport and Sunapee, New Hampshire area. The trees had a lot of snow clinging to them. This is on New Year's Day, by the way, and the storm happened apparently on Sunday night, so it's quite remarkable that the snow is still clinging to the trees after a couple days like that. But makes for very beautiful photos. You can see he used a nice wide-angle lens here, and he said there was a very distinct rain and snow line as he was ascending into the higher elevations, and it's very interesting because when you're going up into these areas, the road conditions can change very fast, and he says it went from rain to snow-covered roads very quickly. But take a look at these photos here. Very nice, and really captures the essence of winter and the holiday season here. So very nice photos. You got beautiful blue sky here on this New Year's Day too in New Hampshire. So thank you, Ryan, for sending those photos in. Ryan Crawford up in New Hampshire. Very beautiful section of the country. Let's take a look at the storm outlook here, precipitation amounts as well as snowfall amounts. We're going to briefly touch on precipitation here, most of it across the east, anywhere from a half an inch of liquid to an inch of liquid, even higher than an inch here in portions of southeastern New England. So let's take a look at snowfall amounts. This is the big story, to say the least. Take a look at, I've had to up some of the categories here because we're expecting a little bit more than I originally predicted here in portions of basically the southern tier of New York, northern tier counties of Pennsylvania, heading over towards the Poconos, the Catskills, extending over towards portions of Connecticut, especially central and eastern Long Island, even New York City. I've had to bump the totals up a little bit. Cape Cod, extending up towards Boston. This is an area that could see a solid 10 to 14 inches of snow with blizzard conditions, especially Thursday night into Friday morning for many of the areas. And I'll touch on those wind speeds. But let me step off the map here so you can pick out your very nice snowfall totals here. For those of you that have been wishing for snow, here it is. You're finally starting to get some snow, heavy snow at that. And you can see I've had to up the totals across much of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, southern Vermont, down East Maine, and portions of Long Island as well. So as you can see, that does pretty much a very interesting... Oh, and I did up to totals out in Cape Cod too. So we are pretty much pushing towards a more stronger system. And here's why. Here is the scenario we're looking at. Low pressure really starting to bomb off the coast of New Jersey, and then it'll head up towards just east of Long Island and Nantucket, and this will really push a lot of moisture in, and it's not going to be terribly slow moving, but it'll be slower moving than we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing these very progressive systems. This system might start to slow down ever so slightly across portions of New England. So that's what we're looking at here. It's quite an interesting situation here because the Clipper diving south along with the southern stream energy here, combining forces to create this interesting weather scenario here. And of course, a lot of the, like I said, the heaviest snow totals will be in the Poconos, the Catskills, southern tier of New York, northeast Pennsylvania, Hudson Valley, heading over towards Connecticut, the White Mountains, over towards Worcester, Boston, Providence, Rhode Island, Cape Cod, portions of Long Island, even portions just ever so close to New York City could get in on some of the higher snow totals here of 1 foot to 1.5 feet in some of those isolated areas. So we're going to continue to watch it here at MeteoMark. I want to show you what we're looking at here for wind speeds. This was what could create the blizzard conditions, especially in southeastern New England, from Boston down to Providence, over towards Hartford, down towards Montauk Point on Long Island, over towards Islip, and just about the New York City area, lower Hudson Valley, even some wind speeds greater than 40 miles per hour, even in some of the Poconos and Catskills on Thursday night and Friday. Towards the coast, we could get those wind gusts closer to 45 to 50 miles per hour. So watch out for that. Here in the southern tier of New York, northeast Pennsylvania, heading off towards the rest of the mid-Atlantic, we could be in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range, still enough to blow a lot of that snow around, and this will be a light, fluffy, powdery snow, which will reduce visibilities. So heed those winter storm warnings and even some blizzard warnings in parts of New England. That's pretty much going to do it here at MeteoMark. Don't forget to like me on Facebook, MeteoMark. Subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. Here's a 5-day outlook for my hometown viewers. The Susquehanna region of New York and the Susquehanna region of Northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look at this. We're heading on into your, basically the storm, the height of the storm here. We're looking at additional snowfall totals. Look at this into Thursday night and Friday. This is where you really start to get into the 8 to 12, 10 to 14 inch snowfall amounts here in the southern tier of New York, Northeast Pennsylvania. Poconos and Catskills more closer to that 14 inches, maybe 15, 16 inches in some of those eastern facing mountain slopes. So we're going to watch for that. Snowfall rates on Thursday evening into Friday morning could be very, very intense. We head on in that Friday. We really take a look at the colder temperatures. The wind will be blowing that snow around, drifting that snow visibility. Wind chills minus 15 to minus 25 heading on into Saturday. The big story here is simply cold weather, very cold. And we're going to continue to watch that here at MeteoMark.